Hi everyone, let's talk about Res Arcana. If you're wondering where the whole thing is, there's a playthrough for it. It's linked in the description. Watch that bit first, that'll make more sense of the game and hopefully help you make your mind up more than this nonsense will. But yes, this is a bit of a difficult one for me to talk about because we really didn't get on with this game at all. But at the same time, I can see things that I should be liking and should be enjoying. So the core concept of this game is that rather than it being a Euro where the game state is changing, the game state is randomized at the start, and you need to see these things like Dominion, for example, the 10 different stacks, you need to see the combinations between them and decide your strategy that way, in a multitude of other games, of course. In this, the actual game state is pretty static. It's the same 5 places of power, the same 5 items. The monuments can be a bit different. There's only 2 in play though, and you're not going to be able to get them right away. The main thing in this game is you've got a different character that you can be, but you have a deck of 8 cards. Shuffle that up. That is your whole thing. So at the start of the game, it encourages you to go through your whole deck and work out what your strategy is going to be, and then disrupt your strategy by you need to shuffle it up. So you know what you've got in mind. You have a rough outline of what you want to do, but you don't know when you're going to get to do it, and if you're going to have to change up your plan because the things haven't come out in the right order or a new combination springs up. And it's a very it's a very quick game. It goes I think it says 4 to 6 rounds. We found 5 or 6 rounds pretty much. Yeah, it's not gone on longer than that, so it's a very quick game. It's under an hour. I've only played it at 2 players. I have heard that at higher player counts that the places of power don't change. There's always 5, and so that can be a bit of an issue with those being really scarce in a 4-player game, and that the downtime is really high. Thought I've made a mistake, but I didn't. I made a mistake trying to rectify a mistake I didn't make. But you can read Creaking Shell's review. I'll put that in the description if I remember. I say I'm going to put a lot of things in the description, and I don't always. He's played mainly at the high player counts, I think, and can speak to you more about those. So this thing does work really well. There are only there's only about 40 cards, I think, in the game. There's only this little stack of cards, but from that, the combination of things that you get can drive you in vastly different ways. But having said that, neither of us, I play with my girlfriend Rachel, I play pretty much everything with, and yeah, we really found the same experience in this, that for the different combinations, we played it twice together, and then I've played it against Marty, who didn't have an opinion. But in those instances, yeah, we didn't feel excited or really interested in what our decks did. We're kind of like, okay, this does this, this does this, okay, then I'll do this, and so that means I need this, and yeah, we'll just go that way. And it's definitely it's quite crushing when one of these places of power that you're building towards gets taken. It's not 100% the end of the game, but it's really towards the end. It can be the thing that tips it over, and it has happened to me where it really, really did completely knocked me off course because everything was gearing towards this thing, and I really felt like I was lost after it. Not that I'd lost the game, but I was just completely in the wilderness trying to think of what I need to do. And usually in other games, this happens in a million games, say in any worker placement game where somebody takes the spot that you desperately need. The fun is in trying to come up with a plan B that is realistic and effective enough to keep you in the game, to use the resources that you had that you desperately needed this one thing. Maybe you can wait to do it instead, or the fun is in, okay, here is the bypass that I've come up with now that what I want isn't here. It's a bit different here because in a worker placement game, things are going to be available next round, aren't they? And the place of power, once they're gone, they're gone. I think it's a really, really big blow. So I can't imagine. Now, I've only played 2 players, so there are 5 places of power just between the 2 of you. So they do cost quite different things. So it's not like you can just switch to something else. But I imagine in a 4-player game, they're really, really going to be tight. The production of the game is really nice. I think it's a new company, Sandcastle Games. This nice tray for all of the components and stuff. Cards and everything fine. The artwork is really, really nice. The theme is dueling mages. Yeah, it's just not particularly excited by that. But yeah, it does really, really look beautiful. There is a lot of iconography in it, but it is explained really well on the player aids that everybody gets. It's just some combination of just these resources, and maybe you'll need a couple on the other side as well. It's all quite well explained. There are a few things on the cards that we found are not explained particularly well at all. Like, it's explained in the rules, definitely. But for just the text on the card, I think, for example, the wind-up man. I don't know if you can see that clearly enough here, but the wind-up man, basically, you can use his power in the round to put resources on him, to put a resource on him per round. And then in the collect phase at the start of the next round, if there are resources on him, it says add 2 of each colour on wind-up man. Now, it means for each colour that is on wind-up man, get 2 more of that colour on him. But the way it's just written, it could very easily be read to mean, if there is anything on wind-up man, put 2 of each colour on him. It just needs a couple more words to make that absolutely clear, because that's a vastly, vastly different thing. It is clarified in the rules, but it's not a card that seems confusing or seems like there is a problem with it. That's more the thing. It's not that anything is explained wrong in the rules themselves, just that, it should be very, very clear on that card. And, the overall feeling is, there's another thing is that I am kind of biased against it to begin with because of how strongly we both feel about attacking in games and negative player interaction in general. There are so many ways that I'm sure that you can dig into a load of Rado top 10s, for example, of different ways of going about player interaction. So many positive ways to do it. And, attacking is fine. Some people really like it, but here it is the worst form of attacking because it offers no benefit to you whatsoever. The dragons in this game are the attacking things. They give you some points, 1 or 2 points. They're expensive to get out, often not really that worth it unless you've got some way of discounting it a lot, or sometimes, like Marty, you'll have the way of discounting it and have no dragons. But all they do is make everybody lose 2 green. The all rivals thing that's supposed to be like, oh, it's great that it affects everybody, it's not just you targeting one person, doesn't matter in a 2-player game. That's meaningless. It's the other person. And it can be a big deal because if they haven't got life to lose, the green resource, they lose 2 of something else for every one that they can't lose. And they can mitigate it in various ways. Like this, they just have to spend a blue to not have to lose 2 green. Or they can get react abilities. Maybe that's going to put a spanner in the works because now they're not going to buy what they needed. They're going to hold on to their life that they were going to spend, but now you have got this attacking thing and they need to keep resources aside in case you attack them, or they can get react abilities that let them ignore those instead. But that's, everything you do is kind of, it's a race. So every extra step, every extra hurdle you're putting in front of yourself is stopping you from winning. Something like that, it's a ton of resources just to get a point, but the whole thing about it is just, okay, I'm going to attack this. And if you've got the fire pit, if you've got the dragon's lair, I don't know why I call it a fire pit, you want to tap that and a dragon. You don't want to use the dragon for its attacking power. But its whole attacking thing is to just make everybody else lose resources. And it's the absolute worst thing in it, especially, there might be something else in there. We haven't seen, obviously, a lot of the cards in here. But for example, the Elvish Bow is quite a cheap thing to get out. It doesn't get you any points, and you are losing the ability to draw a card by using it. But you are you can just tap that every round to make everybody lose 1 green, which isn't a huge deal. But from the start, like Marty got that out in the first turn of the game, so from the beginning, he was kind of getting in my way, and it turns out that in the end, I ended up with a card that got me a lot of green, so it didn't affect me as much once the ball got rolling. But that's just because I had that thing. Otherwise, I would have had to have taken more steps to stop that from getting in my way. So that's a part that, I know it's going to be to do with your taste of whether you like that or not in games, but I think that not only do we not like attacking, the fact that it's just absolutely no benefit for you, and there's that thing of it's gonna hold you back. Maybe you're wasting too much time by attacking people, and the other people are gonna win anyway. That's true as well. But I don't want it. We don't do it in games anyway when it's there, and when the sole purpose is just to hold other people back. That's the absolute worst. Rant over. I've gone on about that too long. It's got all of these things that I should like. It's a very I'm sure it's a very tightly wound, tightly balanced game with such a small deck in there with. There's definitely, you know, cards that just like, okay, well, this is the one that gets you a load of green, this is the one that gets you a load of blue every round. It's not like every card has some wildly different ability, although there are a fair few in there. You know, it's a game about trying to familiarize yourself with this deck that you've got and see, you know, what the other person is doing. It's a very fast back and forth game. You know, the choice of what powers you're going to get, the choice of when to pass can be a huge deal because it's a race just to 10 points, and the first player token that you get if you pass first is a point in there. Describing it, I feel like I should be raving about this game and recommending it just without question. Even though, you know, I was saying that, oh, this is amazing, but it's got the attacking and we hate it. But yeah, despite the kind of positives that I want to say about it, the actual feeling of playing it is just kind of empty and just something that just happens while we play it. I don't want to say that you know, that it's obvious what to do, because there are choices, there are variables in this, but we never find ourselves caring one way or the other about anything that was happening in the game, which sounds really, really harsh to say, despite the positives in it. That's just like, on paper, it's like, apart from a couple of things like the attacking and stuff, we should be loving this game, but actually we are just going through the motions and waiting for it to end, and didn't feel excited about it at all, unfortunately. But yeah, hopefully the playthrough is all that you'll watch, because you won't know any of that if you've just seen the playthrough, and you can make your own mind up. But yeah, if you've seen me say that, you've already seen this video. Anyway, that doesn't matter. The playthrough is there. Decide based on the playthrough rather than what I thought of it. From what I can tell, I haven't really seen any other reviews of it. I've just seen kind of impressions on Twitter and stuff. From what I can tell, everyone else absolutely loves it. So go and listen to other people talking about it, because from the sounds of it, apart from the Creaking Shells review that I read, they're pretty high on the game. So yeah, go and see some other things if you would like to be enticed more. For us, yeah, it just fell a bit flat. But hey, it's the way things go, isn't it? I'm going to move on to another game now. Thank you for watching this. There are hundreds of other videos on this channel. Subscribe and you'll find out when they go up. Like them and comments and stuff. Tell other people that the channel exists. It really, really genuinely helps. Thanks a lot for watching though, and I'll see you for the next game. Bye.